welcome to our YouTube channel, and more so to this particular video that you are just about to watch. Thank you because of tuning in, and on the screen I have displayed what we are just about to handle. It is a computer studies examination paper number 2, paper 2, which is normally a practical paper, and it is a major paper by the Kenya National Examination Council, terminating the Kenya Certificate of Secondary School Education here in Kenya. This paper was done by the class of 2018, and as usual, the requirements are that a student must tackle the 2 questions which are contained in the paper. These questions may come from 4 different computer application categories, namely word processing, spreadsheet applications, desktop publishing applications, and database management applications. So it is always very important for you as a learner to make sure that you have adequately prepared for any 2 of those 4 packages. So in other words, we mean that you must be prepared in the 4 packages depending on what your computer might be having. So without much ado, I would like us to go straight to question number 1. Question number 1 is here, and it reads like this. In a school, students reside in 3 dormitories, red, blue, and orange. Each dormitory is managed by a patron, and each student is required to register for a game. Open a database program and create a database named School Games that would be used to manage the games. Okay, so many times you'll find our illustrations will be done using Microsoft Office Suite, and in it we have a database management software which we call Microsoft Access. So therefore I'm starting Access right from my taskbar down here. So the time you start Microsoft Access, you'll notice there is this icon for a new blank database. You click on it, and then after clicking it, you must specify exactly where do you want to have your database and what should be its name. The name of the database, according to the question paper, is School Games. Remember capitalization, and I want to trust that you have this paper, and in case you don't, I'm going to give a link where you can be able to download as many papers as possible. So School Games, and then something that is very important when you are working in Access that you must always never forget is clicking this browse tool here, which allows you to specify even the location where your database shall be stored in. So this database, I want to store it onto the desktop and on a new folder, which I'm going to name. I prefer naming the folder using my full index number. But for now, because this is for illustration, I may say KCSE 2018 paper 2. Paper 2. KCSE 2018 paper 2. That's where I will save my work into. So I double click the newly created folder. It is empty for now, but I just click save, and then that is okay. Then I carry on and choose create, and there I am. There we are. So the new database is here, and the computer is waiting for me to progress from there. We go to Roman 2. In Roman 2, we are told this. Create tables named student, patron, dormitory, and game in the database created in Roman 1 using the following specifications. 7 marks. Students table, the field names, and their respective descriptions. Patron table, descriptions. Dormitory, field name and descriptions, and so on. So because we have already been told what we are expected to do, I have got the paper on the table, so I would also probably recommend that you should have the paper somewhere with you so that I do not squeeze the screen so much such that we are not able to see the exercise as we do it. So I'll start by creating the student table right from scratch. Every time you open this version of Microsoft Access, version 2016, I think version 2013, I don't know whether it's the same behavior with version 2010, you might find there will be this kind of a layout. I don't like it. I just want to create a new table right from scratch. So go to create, and then there is an icon which is labeled well, table design. Table design will give us this kind of a structure where we have got a place for field name, and then we have got a place for data type, and so on. So the first field that we must have is stud no. Then we have got stud name. Then we have got game code, and then DOM code. Then let's look at the descriptions, because these are the ones which are going to help us be able to create data types. Contains unique registration code. Then so that means it's a primary word. It's a primary key. I click primary key button, either from the toolbar up there under table design ribbon, or I could have also right clicked the row and then selected primary key. The second field contains the name. The name must be text. Game code, it contains codes for each game, and then DOM code contains codes for each dormitory. Now, the descriptions there are not very friendly because they do not allow us to know what data type shall we use. Therefore, I need to switch back to our paper there. So that I can be able to illustrate what we need to do so that we know what data type to use. I'll go straight to where we are supposed to enter the data. And the good thing is that student number, you can see there are some people who would say there's a number. It is not a number. In this case, we are going to use text data type. What disqualifies it from being number data type is K, and likewise here GM, and likewise here D. So all these are short text data types. Okay, so later we are going to visit these other tables, and we are going to see what kind of data that we are required. So all these, the fields that we have in students table, they should utilize a short text data type. Okay, so I might now save my table, having created it. The only field that we have made the primary key, of course, it should be 1. And then I go to save. I click save, and there we have got the save as button, save as table window, so that we give it the name student table. So no capital, and then okay. So that gives me the first table that we are required to create. I can close it. If I want to have it closed. Then I go to create second table in table design. Very fast again. Now patron table should have patron code, a field name, patron code, and then this is one word. Patron code as one word here, patron name as one word again, patron name. I'm used to capitalizing the first letter. Contains the patron code and then contains, okay, contains the patron name. So no mention about unique field. So let me just save that table and then call it patron table. If need be, we are going to come back to the table. And then, so there is this question which will appear in Microsoft Access. There is no primary key defined. We have deliberately failed to create a primary key, but later we may come back to it and think of what should become the primary key of this particular table. So we say, no, we don't want to create a primary key. We are first following the simple instructions that have been given. Create the third table in table design. This is dormitory. Sorry, it's about when I have magnified my screen, then that is why the computer is misbehaving. Dom code, dom name, dom name. Then we have got patron code that way. Then dom code contains the dormitory code, contains the dormitory name, contains the dormitory patron code. Okay, so there is something that we are going to come back and do in these tables as we observe the data. So let me first close and save. Call it dormitory table, dormitory table, and then first don't assign any primary key for now. Then finally there is the fourth table in design view, game table, and it has got game code, and then we have got game name. Okay, contains the game code and then contains the game, the name of the game. Save and then call it game table. Game table like so. Don't assign any primary key. So we've got now the four tables. We've got now the four tables, as you can see in my list here. I've got the dormitory table, game table, patron table, and so on. Now, I have deliberately failed to assign the primary keys so that I can first have a keen look at the data. So for the students table, we were told this is the primary key. However, for the patron, we were not told, but this appears like it should form the primary key. Also for the dormitory, it should form the primary key here, the dorm code, and also the game code. This should be the primary keys. So meaning I need to go back there and reassign the primary keys. So guys, what you do is simply to right click on the desired table and then you choose design view. When you choose design view, you are going to have the table again open in design, and then DOM code. Now I right click the row DOM code and then assign a primary key. Now I'm still going to refer to this table again so that we can also be able to apply the patron code, But let us first deal with the issue of the primary keys. Game table, design view, and then game code is the primary key here. Primary key there. Yes, and then save again. Then patron table, right click, design view, and then patron code is the primary key once again. It's the primary key once again. So why I said I need to go back to some of these tables is so that we can now try to establish relationships where relationships exist. So how do we know? How are we going to know where should we be having relationships? Like now, when I open dormitory table, you can see there is a field which requires us to refer the patron to the patron code. Patron code, remember, it is a field which is coming as a primary key in patron table. So in this table, it comes as a foreign key. It's not the primary key here, but it comes in as a foreign key. Foreign key must be related to a similar primary key of another table. In this case, patron code exists in patron table. So how do I achieve that? So the data type, I change it, use lookup wizard. Okay, use lookup wizard, and then we are taken here, and this is the option that we should choose. I want the lookup field to get values from another table or query. Correct. Next. Which table? Patron table. Next. And then which field? Patron code. Next. Right. And then do we want to sort? We may ignore all that other stuff that we have there. But remember, at the end there, we have to enable data integrity, which restricts any mismatching data. That is, we cannot have a patron code appearing in dormitories if it is not appearing in the primary key of patrons table. Okay, so done, and then I save relationships. Right, so there is also another similar scenario that we have again for, or do we have a similar scenario for games? No, we don't have a similar scenario for games. Neither do we require anything for patrons, but for students there will be about 3 relationships to be created. So let's get to it again in design view. So I zoom in, I magnify my window so that we be very much together. You'll be able to follow me as I go on. Game code, actually 2 fields, game code and DOM code. So let's go to game code. We change the short text now in the place of short text. Not that we are changing the data type, only that we are going to use lookup wizard to reference a primary key from another table. So I want the lookup field to get values from another table or query. Next. And then which table? Remember, we have chosen the field game code. So it comes from games table. Game table. Then next, which one? Game code. Game code is the field that we want. And then next. And then next. And then next. And then enable data integrity, again for the same reason that I had explained earlier, that we must not have a student participating in a game code which is not available in the table games or games table. Okay, so finish, save the relationship. Then the next one is DOM code. Likewise, lookup wizard. Go down, lookup wizard. I still want to look up the values from another table. Next, and then which table? In this case, we are looking for the dormitory, DOM code. So DOM table, dormitory table. Okay, dormitory table. Then which field? DOM code, and then next, and then next, and then okay, next. I wonder why it has given us that kind of a symbol. Then we finish. Save the relationships. Okay, so yes, I think there is something amiss in this table. We have it open. That's why I first require to close the dormitory table. So I'm going to repeat again the procedure of students table DOM code. I associate it again, same method, lookup wizard, and then I go to next, and then I go to dormitory table. Then next, this one is the field DOM code. Then we go to next, then next. Then we say what? Yeah, now I think it is okay. It is because I had previously opened the window for the dormitories table. So that way now it's now perfect. Good. Having done so, let's read the next instruction. So let's remember to close the table so that it does not give us any issue. Next item. After creating the tables, we are told to create relationships between the tables. Where is that? Here. Create the relationships between the tables. So by using lookup wizard, that was automatically done. That is the way I like doing my relationships. So forget about this. Sometimes this computer, I don't know whether it's all the computers which normally behave like that. Not all, but these are unnecessary relationships, those ones. But our tables are here. So we've got that, and then we have got the other table, student table. So plus their respective relationships. So you can see the kind of relationships that have been created, and because of enforcing referential integrity, that's why we have got the symbols 1 to infinity, 1 to infinity, meaning 1 to many, 1 to many, 1 to many. Okay, so close the relationships window, save the changes because of the way we have reorganized them. And then we go to B. Part B says what? Part B says create a form for each table that would be used for data entry, and then you enter the data into respective tables. So we create the forms first, and then we use the forms for data entry. So very quickly, I choose the first table just by clicking, and then I tell the computer to generate a form for that particular table. So I'm waiting for the form. The computer even recommends to have a sub form. I don't want a sub form. I just wanted to have a form. There it is for the dormitories. And this one is not a dormitory table. It is a dormitory what? Form. Dormitory form. So the examiner talked about single, dormitory is form. Dormitories form. Okay. Then next, game table, create a form. So I have only highlighted game table, and then I click on create and then form. Then again, it has got a sub form. I ignore the sub form. Then come to form design view. Choose design view of the form so that we call it game form. We are simplifying work because the number of marks given the examiner was so mean, and therefore that is why I'm not even so much careful about improving the forms. But if there will be the time, if we are going to have the luxury of time, we are going to do some improvement to the forms. Patron table likewise comes with a sub form. We don't want the sub form. And then we again rename the heading in design view. Call it patron form. Okay. Then sorry for that. Form. Here. Okay. Then next is what? Student. Create a form. This one again does not come. This is a good one. It does not come with sub forms. It is an intelligent one. Of course, it's because it's called student. Students are intelligent people. Okay, and then we save. We call it student form. Right. So where should we begin at entering data? That is the major question that we should now ask ourselves. We are in the next level where we are supposed to enter data. If you make a mistake of trying to enter this data into this table, you are in a mess. You cannot start with this one. Why? Because game code and DOM code come from other tables. So D003 must first exist in dormitory table before you come and capture a record which is referring to D003. Likewise, even in GM, game code, they must first exist in the games table. Patron code must first exist in patrons code. So therefore, in my case, I will start with patron table, then I go to games table, then thereafter dormitory table, and then finally students table. So number 1, patron, games, and then dormitory, and then number 4, students. So I can use the forms, but allow me, just because of on account of time, to enter data directly into the tables. So we have said we start with patrons. So we have got patron, I turn on capitals, 001, that is Maurice, and then we press tab, P002, this is Edward, yes, Edward, P003 is Jane. So you note that order and the explanation why we cannot start the other way. Then we go to number 2. The number 2 table is games. Games is the one which we shall enter data into as the second one. This is a game called basketball. Basketball. Then we have got GM, game 002. Call it volleyball. And then GM 003. Call it table tennis. Table tennis. Again, G004, GM 004. Call it what? Netball. Call it netball. Those are the 4 games. Close very fast. Go to next item. We said dormitory codes. Dormitory. So that now we are able to refer to the patron code. Not 1. Be cautious again not to use O instead of 0. So we can just drop down the list, pick the patron. Then D02, we have got blue is the dormitory. Then we have got the patron code is 2. Then we have got D003. This is orange dormitory, orange, and then the patron, of course, must be the other patron, number 3. Good. Then a little cold, but no worry. Student table. We start with K001. This is where now we have got a lot of data to be entered. Game codes G004. DOM code D003, then tab K002. I'm sorry for that. I am exactly very sorry for that. Chris, and GM 00 what? GM, this is a player of G003. Dormitory is 01. And K003, Jared, and then game is G001, dormitory is D02, then number 4 is K not 4. There's a girl called Julian is a player of G004, and dormitory G004, she resides in D003. Then we've got K not 5. This is a girl called Marion. We have got game played is called G001, and then the dormitory Marion is in 03. Then K006 is a girl called Janet, and then the game played by Janet is 02. Dormitory is not 3. Okay, K00, we are in 7. This is Tom, and then Tom is playing game 2, and then resides in DOM 2. Then we have got K, not 8. We have Jerry, 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 Jerry. And then we put game is 03 and the dormitory is 02. Hope we are together that far. So that's the data. So if you check even in the forms, you will notice that the forms, we can be able to navigate through the records using the forms as well. So because the tables are the main container of our records. That is already done. Next item, I am also perusing my paper here, turning my paper. Next item is this. Create a query to extract each of the following details. Roman 1, student number, student name, game name for all students who reside in Orange dormitory or play basketball. Save the query as Orange Q. Again, student number, student name, game name for all students who reside in Orange dormitory or play basketball. We save it as Orange Q. So hold the paper that you are having, or kindly note what we have just read so that you do not get lost on what we are going to do. Create a new query. Using what? Let me use a wizard so that my work becomes a little bit simple. I call the query use simple query wizard, and then student number is in which table? So I select table, student table. Hope you are seeing what I have just done here. I have selected table, student table. Then the fields that the examiner wants is student number, then student name. I'm simply double clicking the available fields to have them selected. And then the game name. Where is game name? We don't have game name here. We have got game code. So I'm going to choose from, remember, because of the network of the relationships that we created, you don't have to worry now. The relationships being perfect, the computer is going to be able to relate what is the game name related to the game code that is associated with this particular student. So game name is also required, and of course dormitory, because we are talking about those students who reside in Orange dorm name. Okay, so next, then what did we call the query? The query, we have been told, we call it Orange Q. So what title would you like for the query? Orange Q, Orange Q, Orange Q. Then we can modify the query in design so that we first see it. How does it look like? So those are the 3 used tables. And then at the bottom here, we have got the 3 selected fields, the 4 selected fields. So if I switch to datasheet view on the corner there, I'm able now to see the list of all the people plus the game they play and the dormitory they reside in. So now I just need to go back to design view and then ask myself the question. The question here reads that those who reside in a dormitory. So in this case, we look for criteria row, then dorm name. Criteria field called dorm name. In that criteria, we say we want to type a dorm name called Orange. 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 Okay? Yes. And then notice the examiner now uses the word or play basketball. Okay, that one is important. I look at the question again. I show you the part that I'm interested in very much. Or play basketball. You see this area. So they belong to Orange dormitory or play basketball. So right now what I have done is creating an expression to display those who reside in orange. Okay, so to prove that, I show you the list in datasheet view. So these are the occupants of orange dormitory. But the examiner also says, or if they play is it basketball? Yes, if the game they play is called basketball. So I have shifted one row to go down so that I can apply or, right? If I could have applied it here, I could be saying and those who play basketball and they reside in orange dormitory. But in this case, it is those who reside in orange dormitory or play basketball. Basketball. If the spelling was correct, then we should see our list being populated further. There's a person here, Jared, who plays basketball, does not reside in orange, but because of he plays basketball, that's why he appears in the list. And then plus those who also reside in orange dormitory. Okay, so hope you have gotten that concept, and because of time, try also to internalize what we have done. We have placed basketball in the row for or and orange in the row for criteria. Okay, so if it was a series of or, those who belong to those whose name is starting with the letter whatever, or those who are called so and so, or they play basketball, or they are in orange dormitory, we could have kind of created a diagonal kind of entry, so that we start with the student name and then basketball for the next row and then orange for the next row. Okay, so you try to do some practice on that if you are not getting it very, very well. And then I remember to save the query. Okay, Roman 2. Student number, student name, game name for those students whose student name start with letter J. Save the query as J query. So it's the same query up here, but no mentioning of dormitory, but the name now is the name that begins with the letter J. So because it's an advancement of the same query, what we are going to do is to just save this query as an object. Save the object as where am I? Let me just use another method. Let me use the copy paste method. I right click orange Q, copy the query, and then in the panel where we see the objects, I right click and then I choose paste. Then I call it the new name jQuery. But remember, it's an identical query to the orange Q. So I open it in design view. One thing we don't want is DOM name, so I click along this thin bar and then I delete orange. We don't want orange. Neither do we want criteria basketball. Our criteria is we apply a criteria to display those names which begin with the letter J. So trust that you have already learned that. So again, for criteria row, for student column, student name, I apply a criteria there. I'm zooming in so that we are able to see. So I type an expression which says like, I open double quotes, those are double quotes, like letter J followed by anything. Asterisk there refers to anything. So we are beginning with the letter J plus anything. Okay, that's what the examiner wants. And then I zoom out and then I try to show you the displayed content. So anybody whose name is beginning with the letter J has been displayed. J asterisk does that very well. So guys, let's save the query. Then we close it. And then we go to part D. Create a tabular report showing student number, student name, dorm name, patron name, game name, and grouped by game name. Save the report as report game. Another wonderful one. 8 marks, just like that. Okay, so let's go create a report using what? Wizard, to simplify our work, of course. Then this table, this report is based on student table. From it, we are choosing student number, student name. Game name is not here, but it is in games table. Sorry, it is in games table. Then it is game name. Then from there, I missed something. I misread. From this one, we need dorm name, and then there is patron name. Patron name comes from patron's table, patron name, and then there is game name. I was not very wrong. Games table, game name, like so. Is that okay? Yes. Then I continue next, and then now we come to how do we want to view our data. First, ignore that. I go to the next level where we talk how do we want to view our data. That one we may not change, but the one for grouping, that is very critical, very crucial that we do this. The report should be grouped by game name. Game name. I select game name and then I choose this icon. Game name is the grouping field. The game name is the grouping field. Then next, then we told to sort. I don't think so. We are not told. So I ignore sorting. Layout, I can just leave it as it is. And then what else? I go next. Then the file name is report game. Report game. Report game. Report game. Report game. And then finish. Let's see the report. Oh, okay. So I zoom so that we can try to look at it together. Game name, we have people who play basketball. We have 2. Netball, we have 2. Table tennis, we have 2. Volleyball, we have 2. Right? So we have been able to group our report. You can see the names of the student number, student name, dorm name, patron name. Okay, so meaning we have already achieved that which the examiner intended us to do. Zoom out. Format the report created in Roman 1 as follows. Replace the report title with the text players for each game. Players for each game. Players for each game. Players for each game, like so. And because it's a heading, the examiner might not have said it, but we can still do some modifications. We make it color black, we make it a big title, and then we can also bold it. Okay, players for each game. Remember to resize appropriately, just in case something is obscured, something is hidden. Don't forget to bold. So because this is also a heading, that is game name, I can also choose to bold, and also I apply a thicker color, and probably I italicize that text. Then enter your name as the index and index as a report footer. So I go to report footer and use what? In this case, I am going to use a design tool, and then this design tool I'm going to use the tools are under report design. I'm going to use a label. So my name is Mr. Computer Teacher. Some other times we also call ourselves Mr. Shadrach, if you like it. And then another label for index number. Index number. My index number is 001101101110. Whatever index number might be, in your case, you type it. Then you can just try to enhance the appearance of those labels. So I can just have size 14, and that is it. Okay. So bold the dormitory names in the report. Bold the dormitory names in the report. So bold the dormitory names in the report. And also let's apply black color for all these items. And then we have bolded the dormitory name. Bold the dormitory name. And what else? Nothing else. Bold the dormitory names in the report. And so that is so far so good. So if I preview the report, now you can see with the enhancements that we have done, we are able to see Mr. Computer Teacher, the report footer. Each game is well outlined here, and so on. Everything is just perfect. So far so good. So very easy to score 50 over 50 in database management software questions. Very easy to score 50. What is remaining now, guys, is just to close the report, and then we save it, and then to print. So print out student, patron, game, dormitory tables, all of them. So I just illustrate dorm table, and then you can just press Control P, the shortcut. Now at Form 4, you need to know these shortcuts. And then just click OK. When you have selected the right printer here, just click OK, right? You just click OK. Open the second table, game table, and then Control P, select the printer, OK. Every item, okay? jQuery, you do the same. jQuery, Control P, and then you select the printer, and then OK. Like that, even for Orange Q, because it's also required. Report game, likewise, Control P, and then select printer, click OK. That is done. That is how you perfectly do that job. Then those are 7 marks for printing the work. So guys, that's how you were supposed to respond to this question. Question number 1 in the year 2018 computer studies examination. So I am going to terminate this video and then keep checking for the second video, which will be now taking us through question number 2 of the same year 2018. God bless you. May you stay safe and blessed. Thank you.